Most people start self-improvement way too late, completely at the wrong time, and completely not when they're supposed to be working on self-improvement. And then they abandon it right when it's about to make the biggest change. So most people start on improving themselves, on bettering their lives, on taking seriously the idea that they are in charge of their lives and that they have to actually take actions in this world to affect positive change for the monkey and for the world and for their own mind, for their own thoughts, for their own conceptions. That actions need to be taken, that courage is needed, and that energy needs to be exerted, resistance needs to be overcome. It's truly a hard process. And we know it's hard internally. We feel how hard it is. Changing your brain, changing the way your mind works takes energy. It does, just like taking a river that's flowing down a path and diverting it a little bit so it now flows some of the water now flows into your agriculture. That takes a lot of energy, physical energy, mental energy too. But once you're done with that, you have a different path with the flow of water. In the same way, when you real self-improvement, you're going to have a different path, a truly different path in the flow of thoughts and consciousness and emotions. It's that flow that matters. You're changing that flow, and the actions you're taking are to change that flow. It's not what you're seeking is not the actions themselves, as I've said before, but the actual end result, which is identity change. But the problem is you're starting it wrong. You're starting it at the wrong times, and you're not thinking about your life in a holistic and complete way. So most people, for self-improvement, they completely ignore it. They're fine where they are. And if you talk to them about improving your life, you say, I'm improving my own life. Some people will say, oh, good job, but most of them will balk at it, and no one will take no one's gonna take your example. And of course, you shouldn't tell people to improve their lives. That's ridiculous. I would never tell somebody, oh, you should get on a path to self-improvement, even if I wanted them to. That's rude, and it's never going to give you good results. That's not how you get people to change most of the time. The change has to come from within. So I don't tell people to improve themselves. I mean, these videos I'm creating are for people to improve themselves, but they're created for people that are seeking it out on YouTube. I'm not advertising these videos to people who are not seeking it out, because that would be stupid. That would be so stupid. There's already enough people in the world that are seeking self-improvement, and if you're not, there's not much I could say. There's just not much I could say or do that's gonna create lasting effort on your behalf. Only you can create that lasting effort, that true effort, that effort over weeks and months and years that's going to actually divert the river. I could point to the river and say, hey, look at that river. Wouldn't it be nice if we diverted it a little bit so it starts watering some of our plants, some of our agriculture, and gives life to them? And you'll say, yeah, that is nice. But to actually go out and do the work day after day after day after fucking day after day to do that, you're gonna have to be the one that's doing it. There's not much I could say or do that's gonna have such a lasting impact. So the change has to come from within. And if you don't have that change, if you're not ready for it, you're just not ready for it. Not everyone is ready for change. But the heart, for me, the heartbreaking thing, and this is heartbreaking and sad, is that most people, they just ignore it. They don't see it. And they especially, this is the most heartbreaking part, they especially ignore it when their lives are okay, when their lives are good. They sit in that goodness. They sit in that comfort, in that calmness, in that peace, in that luxury. And they don't think about the fact that, hey, tomorrow may be worse. In fact, if today is good, tomorrow is likely worse. And the most tough people in the world, they embrace that. They don't fear it. They love that idea. For example, the Navy SEALs. What's the quote of the Navy SEALs? Their quote is, "The only easy day was yesterday." That's such a deep and meaningful and wild fucking quote. What a wild quote. The only easy day was yesterday. What does that mean? That's such an intense acceptance of difficulty, of harshness. It's such a openness to the insane chaos of the world, embracing the chaos. It's a wild, courageous statement that we I wish I could live by more often, but it's very hard to live by, very hard to live by. And at the same time, it's easy to live by. And just like that, you could live by it if you change your mind. But very, very hard to change your mind, very hard. So back to the point. When you're when you're in a good place, when you're comfortable, when you have a job, when you're making money, when you're in a good relationship, when you're in an okay relationship, when you have some friends, when you have a lot of friends, where you have your parents still alive, when you have your siblings still alive, when you have your family still near you, when you have a house and a roof over your head and a car, all those things, when you have your health, all those things are important. When you have your sight, when you have your hearing, when you have your taste, when you have your smell, when you have your energy, when you have your willpower, when you have your desire and your drive, even when you have your sex drive. Although sex drive, in a sense, can be very unpleasant, and when you are deeply mindful of your sex drive in the moment, you can see that there's actually an inherent unpleasantness to it. But most people, most human beings, most men, I could probably speak for men more than women, most men would never want to lose their sex drive, right? They would never want to lose that. And in the same sense, when you have everything going for you, you're just in a calm, okay place. Maybe not a happy place, but in an okay place. And you're not that inclined to improve yourself. But that's exactly when you should improve yourself. It's when things are okay. It's when things are calm, when things are at peace. That's when you need to get on the program of self-development. Not at all when things are shitty. Not at all when things are down, when things are chaotic, when things collapse in your life, as they inevitably do in all lives. Not at that time, but in the good times. That's when you should start your self-improvement program, your self-improvement path. That's when you have to get better in every way, better in your mind, better in your heart, better in the way you think and approach the world, better in the way you're able to use your energy. You're a lot better in the way you're able to use this thing, this monkey that you have control over somewhat, that you think you have control over. How are you going to be better able to utilize this monkey to create more positive change in the world? How? It has to start when things are okay. When things are shitty, you better fucking hope that you did the work when things are okay. Because when things are shitty, it's too late to do the work. It's too late.